On the second Sunday of Christmas, Sharon shared with me a little hot chocolate mug. Really a fancy mug. You could use just DSP to make this one, and it's got, well, that's left over. It should have gone in that one, but I think I'm going to eat this one. It's got patterns on the inside and outside because it is DSP. Or you have this one, which is a sturdier option, especially if you're going to be putting some heavier things in. This packet, by the way, goes in nicely, fits nicely, and it's not hurting this this project at all. It's not heavy enough to weigh it down, but if you had something really heavy, you might want to consider this cardstock version that's also decorated with the DSP. Let me show you how to make it. We're going to begin by taking some of our beautiful Traditions of Christmas Designer Series paper. And I've got the one that's got the red/cherry cobbler on the back and the pretty poinsettias in pink and with some red floral accents. All right, so we're going to begin by cutting a piece that is 4.5 inches wide. Now this is non-directional paper, which is great to use. If you were using directional paper, you want to make sure that that your direction runs this way. So like this might be the top and that might be the bottom, or top and bottom. You want to cut across the sides here. So here's 4.5. And now we're going to turn it and we're going to cut it to 8.5 inches. So you could be using regular cardstock for this, but I think the DSP is beautiful. All right, now we're going to, once you identify the top, so I'm going to call this the top, I want to score 1.5 inches in from the bottom. 1.5 happens to be where the light gray meets the dark gray in my scorer. So you want to score, right? Maybe you can see the score line a little bit better on this side. Okay, now on the, when you turn it on the long side, you want to score it at every inch. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to score it at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, I'm going to turn this over so that you can see the score lines a little bit better. One of the things that we need to do, or that you can do that will help them to show up a little bit more, is just go ahead and burnish them. Take a little bone folder, and you're just going to make some nice creases. And that's happening every 1 inch. This is going to be such a pretty project when we're done, because the paper is so pretty. All right, now there's this little 1/2 inch piece right here. We're going to trim that a little bit. I'm going to angle cut in a little bit to where these score lines meet. And then I'm going to cut this rectangle and that little bit off. Actually, I want to cut on the score line. There we go. And I'm going to miter this side as well. Just keeps the finished edge nice looking. I'm going to cut up on each of these score lines. There we go. And we never did fold on those, so we might as well go ahead and burnish those. Make sure that they're nice and straight. It's easy to kind of get them to lean otherwise, just because of the way you fold. You want to just make a nice little fold here. And then there's the last one. Okay, so the first thing we will do is adhere this. You need to use a very strong adhesive. So you either need to use tear and tape, which would hold up just fine here, or you want to use the Tombow glue, the green glue that I use a lot. It does not matter, except for with this you have to hold it a little bit more. So let's go ahead and put the adhesive here, and I'm going to put it right towards the scored edge. And then I want to pick 4 of these panels, and I'm going to put some tear and tape on both. Well, I'm going to wrap it around. You'll see why in a minute. But you only need to do 4. So I'm just doing 4 adjacent ones. I'm just eyeballing. I'll wrap it around there. Did I call it tear and tape? Or did I call it sticky strip? It's tear and tape. Sticky strip was something that we used to carry. And it had a red liner with it, and oh, the red liner stuck to you like nothing. And then of course, cutting it was, you had to cut it, you couldn't just tear it. That's why I love the tear and tape. All right, so the first thing we'll do now is take off that edge, and we're going to line this up. So you want to make it so that this edge goes to this line. So I find that if you fold it and you match it across to the other side, you can actually even just fold it flat in half, and that becomes joined perfectly. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to find our pieces that have our tear and tape. All right, so that's these 4 pieces right here. Let's go ahead. If I fold these back, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Okay. You want to have it keep the form. We're going to take one that doesn't have sticky strip, tear and tape, you know what I mean? And fold that in first, and then we're going to take the one that is opposite it and come in like this. And you don't want to push the sides in, you just sort of want to let it do its thing here. And we're going to gently fold this over, and those will stick together. Now there's some sticky up on here because remember we wrapped it around, so that's okay. We're going to now do these opposite sides. All right, so that's going to go right there. And that will stick to the other tape. And we're going to do this one. All right. So, whoops. So far, so good. We'll be able to get it off our fingers. And if you put your hand inside, you'll be able to help that stick down a little bit better. Okay. Now we're going to keep doing the next one. Let's fold this one over. And this one over. I'm off a little bit, I can see right now, but it's not too bad. I can maybe tweak it a little bit. There we go. Now for this last one, I don't want my tear and tape on the outside, So this is the one that's going to go last. So it's the opposite of all the rest of them. I'll put this in here, hold that right across there, and then this one's going to come right across as well. And now what I can do is I can push down from the inside. You've got a lot of pieces over there overlapping, which is going to make it nice and sturdy. So there is our little teacup so far. Now, let's find where our little piece is here. This is where our sides met. You can see that. Maybe you can, maybe you can't see this little seam right there. Let's make a handle. Now, if you'll remember, we had a piece left over. I've gone ahead and I've cut 1 inch off of that because that piece that was left over measured 4.5 inches wide because that was that long strip that we cut. So I want something that's 4.5 inches and I wanted it 1 inch. So I just made a cut. And now I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch. And that's all we need to do here. Now I have a choice. I can make my cup handle match, but if you do that, you're going to get this other side showing just a little bit right there. Not a big deal. I think I like the contrast though of having this red handle, and when you see how it's joined in here, it's not as obvious, this 1/2 inch strip, because it's the same as the paper. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my tear and tape and I'm going to put it on that 1/2 inch strip. I'm even going to do 2. Well, I don't know if I can do 2. I'll have to overlap them a little bit, I think, if I do 2. You don't have to do 2, and you can certainly use glue as well. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to find the section that has where I joined them. I'm going to come down just a little bit from the top. Let's make sure that's straight on there. And then I want to have just some tear and tape on the bottom of the inside here. So on the top, we put it on, it ends up being inside, but it's the red, and on the bottom, we're putting it on the other piece right here. We're just gonna go right down to the bottom there. And then we've got that. That makes a nice curved little handle here. Now, if you want to make your bottom here a little bit sturdier, what you can do is you can cut a circle. Now, the circle has to be smaller than this, or you can even take a piece, just one more piece of this designer series paper and punch a circle. So for instance, here is a 2-inch circle punch. If I punch that out, that just finishes the bottom a little bit nicer, I think. You could probably do a 2.5-inch circle, and that would work here as well. You just have to make sure that it doesn't stick out anywhere. You can also do the same thing on the inside. Let me see if I can show you. Probably should do a 2 1/4, maybe even a 2 1/2 would work. But see how it gives a little bit more of a finished look than if you're just using, you know, the overlapping pieces. Doesn't matter, they all work. If you find there's some sections, maybe you'd like them to be stuck together a little bit more, you can certainly go in with a little bit of glue, but this should hold things nicely. Let's see what we can put in. You can take a little hot chocolate packet. You can fold that in there. You can take a little Lindor truffle, because that's fun too. Put that in there, depending on, ooh, I think we need a couple more of these. And it's dangerous that I've actually opened this up. Ooh. But see, there we, you know what? This is what I want. I want to frame this like this. We just got some cute little treats. And we can put a little something on here to decorate. All right, let's bring in my Stylish Shapes dies. And I have the traditional labels, which I also have the labels in here, but I think the shape of the cup is such that I just want to use a little circle here. So that's why I'm bringing in my Stylish Shapes. And maybe this is a Secret Santa gift. So you're just gonna do 2 and maybe from, but probably not from, because Secret Santa, it's a secret. We could emboss the 2 on this. You know what? I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to die cut this small circle. Be right back. You know what? I changed my mind. I decided that I will still use this, but I'm going to put somebody's monogram on this. So this is the mini alphabet dies, and it comes as a large die, but I really only want to do an S. No, I'm not giving it to myself. I'm giving it to someone else whose name starts with an S. I have lots of those in my life, so I don't actually have to choose right now, but I'm going to die cut this. All right, and look, I have a little S up here. I have a couple other letters too. I've got a T and an R. Only turning my attention to the S right now. We'll glue this on there. Ooh, that came out way too fast. It's very warm in my stamp room right now. Get a little sloppy with the ink. With the glue. Get that off. And I will take my adhesive eraser if I have to. But here's a little S, and we're just going to put that on with a dimensional. Put that on the back right here. And now, look, we have this cute little personalized mug. Now, the sides are a little soft, which you might expect because it is designer series paper. You can do this in a cardstock though, and I'm going to show you how it will look with cardstock and designer series paper. Okay, as you can see, I have my cherry cobbler, and I scored it and I cut all these flaps. All that I have to do now is burnish. I'll do that very quickly here. And then we'll burnish this way. You can probably do them all at once. Or at least half at once. There we go. All right. Now, before I go ahead and attach everything, I'm going to take these little pieces, and these pieces measure 2 7/8 by, 7/8 inch wide and 2 7/8 inch tall. So if you have a pattern that is directional, it does matter. You want them to be portrait. You want them to be tall. And I would probably recommend cutting them in order and keeping the order so that you can just kind of go around. Now, I didn't do that with all of them. Looks like, nope, that's not it. I guess I didn't do it with any of them. I don't know. I didn't keep them in order. Hindsight, 2020. But in the end, it won't really make too big a difference because it is broken up a little bit by the cherry cobbler in the middle. But if you wanted an extra special touch, that's what I would do. Hope my phone battery is going to last until this project is done, because I'm out of time to let it charge. I need to get this done tonight so I can get it uploaded so you can see it. And I have no time tomorrow because I work on Sundays. That's what happens when you work at a church. And then afterwards, I have a newcomers event at church. So I'll be tied up for a little while. I won't be able to edit. Got to do it tonight. All right. So there we have that. I'm going to go ahead and put my tear and tape on as I did before. Oops. It's getting stuck to things it's not supposed to stick to. I'm going to pick 4 of these that I want to wrap around. So I need roughly 2-inch segments. And wrap it around. If it's one's longer than 2 inches, you can always trim it. But remember, we're only doing this on 4 of the segments. So I saw this. This is a video from a UK demonstrator. Actually, I don't even think she's a demonstrator anymore. Her name was Tracy Cornelius. She's now got 5 girls, and she went into a different direction, I think. But I just loved this project. I searched the world over for you guys. Now, those of you that are of a certain age, when I just said I searched the world over, you immediately started singing that hee-haw song. I searched the world over and thought I'd found true love. You met another and you was gone. Remember that? Oh, the things we used to watch with my parents. Oh, anyway. All right, this one's gotta go. Gotta get some. I'll put that right near the scored edge. All right. Remember, fold that over, fold this in half. That should meet up perfectly. All right, now we're gonna open this back up. Let's splay these things out so we can see what's what. And we want to sort of get it looking pretty good here. We're gonna play with opposite sides, remember? Oh, my phone's still working, that's good. So we're not really turning in the sides. We're not pressing in on the sides. We're just bringing them in to meet the middle. And then we're going to send these guys in to meet in the middle. And so this one's already there. We'll take this off. Have it go back over the other one. All right, and then we can do this one. All right. And it's much sturdier with cardstock. You can feel how much sturdier it is. Oops, wait a second. Remember, this last one is not like the other ones. The one with the tear and tape has to go first. Here we go. And that's actually a pretty nice looking bottom. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to press it all down. Get all that adhesive to stick. And there, see how our cup is a little bit different? And it doesn't even have to be a cup. It's only a cup if I add the handle. But so pretty. Now for the handle, you can use cardstock or you can use the designer series paper. When you use the cardstock, notice that your inside is solid though. It's not a design. So if you want a design on the inside, you're going to have to use some designer series paper to get that. Let's go ahead and see if I can cut a handle out of cardstock. Let's see how this looks. I don't even know if it's going to look good. Let's see. 4.5 inches. And I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. Let's see how this looks. I'm going to find this side. Doesn't really matter which side you put it on, but. And if I just do this now, the handle here, I'm gonna come down a little bit more. You'll want to kind of train it near this little fold. Just kind of with your fingers, bend it in. That's gonna let it fold, arc nicely down here. And so we'll have that. So let's go ahead. We're gonna put tear and tape on this side and then flip it over and tear and tape on the other side, other end. So let's take this again. All right. I'm gonna put it down maybe, I don't know, maybe 3/8 of an inch from the top. And then we're going to take off this one and line that right up to the bottom. Make sure you press it well. And so there we have another little cup, and look how cute it is. Okay. Now, if you'd like to finish it off a little bit more, I guess a little bit nicer, you could just take a cellophane bag and then put your treats in that way. Scrunch it up a little bit, put it in the cup, and then you just take a little ribbon, and this is the 1/2 inch shiny ribbon, and it's meant to go with both real red and cherry cobbler, I think. Technically it's a real red, so we can go ahead and tie this on here. I'm gonna put my non-shiny side out. I'll put the shiny side out. It really matches the Lindor truffles very nicely. I can tie bows on cards, but man, other things it's hard for me. So we just have a nice little bow. I think if we pull the ends, there we go. You could use some gold cording on this instead if you wanted to. Some white ribbon. We've got some great ribbon on clearance right now. This 1/4 inch white ribbon, that's all it's called, 1/4 inch white ribbon. That is on clearance sale right now. That's a nice little ribbon too. Let's see, there we have our nice little cup. We could take could take the S from this and put it on here, but whether you prefer cardstock or just the designer series paper, they're both really, really cute. Really cute options. So not a hard project, but it does take a little bit of time, and but that's what you've got because it is only the beginning of October. So we have 2+ months left before Christmas, so you can get cracking on your Secret Santa gifts, your stocking stuffers, your just little nice surprises for coworkers and friends.